Hey folks, Lachlan here. Today I'm going to tell you about the actual lived experience for everyday South Africans living in 2025, rather than focusing on broad scale sociopolitics. South Africa at the local level is a country in constant decay. Almost everyone, regardless of their race, if they have the financial and logistical resources to do so, is looking for a way out. Now, this isn't everyone. There are wealthy people who, for whatever reason, still want to remain here, but many people are looking for the exit. And that is because on our current path, there is no future for anyone. Doesn't matter what color your skin is. This is largely due to the fact that we have a government that doesn't actually care to govern as long as they themselves and their families remain wealthy and comfortable. And because they have access to state resources, no matter what happens to the rest of us, the political elites will be fine. On a social level, I see every day requests for either marriage counselors or divorce attorneys or psychological treatment. Because to live in South Africa carries with it an immense psychological burden, which is also often unconscious. We don't always realize how stressed we are because we are largely desensitized to what goes on here. Crime is very high. We have among the highest rates of violent and unsolved crimes in the world because our police force is largely compromised. And let me tell you a few examples of what I mean. There are regular coordinated armed robberies, even in the community in which I live. For reference, I live just outside the coastal city of Durban, which is one of South Africa's largest port cities. And human trafficking, for example, is on the rise. I live about a kilometer away from a large shopping center, what you might call a mall. And women, particularly if they have children, are afraid to go to that mall alone because there are people who hang around and try to coax either the women themselves or their children into cars. We aren't quite sure for what purpose, but I can guarantee you that it's nothing good. And it's funny because Western leftists will listen to me saying things like this and claim that the people leaving South Africa for the West are just racist whites. But that's not the case because anyone of any race with any intelligence and any foresight is looking for better opportunities for themselves and their families because the ANC has adopted an increasingly hostile attitude toward the West. Just a few days ago, I made a video in which the Secretary General of the ANC openly threatened war against the United States. So things are rapidly declining here, and it is directly because of the ANC's corruption and incompetence. Because what many foreign people outside of South Africa don't understand is that it's not just that our leaders are too stupid to govern. They are stupid, make no mistake about that. But they're also choosing to do things that are actively detrimental to the country as a whole because it's beneficial in the short term for them and those they are connected to. If you ever wondered why, for example, South Africa took the State of Israel to the International Court of Justice over the issue of Palestine, That is because our government has deep and profound ties to the Iranian government. It has nothing to do with human rights violations and everything to do with the ANC being in the back pocket of dictators. On a social level, it has become very difficult to keep going in South Africa because if you are someone like myself who cannot leave, it's difficult to see a reason to get up in the morning because as a white person, I can tell you that we are systematically being removed from the South African economy. Now, let me be clear. I am not claiming to be the world's biggest victim, even though I have a severe physical disability which does prevent me from meaningfully engaging in public life. But you should know that in all circumstances, the biggest victims of the ANC's incompetence, corruption, and arrogance are ordinary black people. The ANC still like to refer to themselves as a liberation movement and those who stand for the poor and the oppressed. Only that's complete bullshit. They like oppression as long as they're the ones doing the oppressing. So that is just a brief window into what life in South Africa is like. As always, I hope that you find something of value in this content. And if you are a Western leftist who is simply going to dismiss me as a white supremacist, a racist, a fascist, or any of those other meaningless buzzwords, I heartily invite you to go fuck yourself. As always, be kind to one another, look after yourselves, and for now, farewell.